All right, welcome back to episode 52 of the Hops and Bops podcast. I'm producer Tom.
Joe. Mike.
Well, got to the point on that one. I love it. And bringing back producer's pick, and what I have chosen The Money Store by Death Grips, one of my favorite albums of the past couple years. And to pair with that, we have Sastrugi, I hope I said that right, a double dry hopped IPA with a collaboration between Burial Beer out of Asheville, North Carolina, and Fair State Cooperative Brewing out of Minnesota, I believe.
Oh, Minnesota.
They have one tap room in Minneapolis. So this is a reaching out there for a while. I actually went to Total Wine to find this. Although
yes.
I have found it in other local ones, but I like the layout of the can. That's literally the only reason I picked it. And I thought it matched well with the album cover, very black and white, kind of scary and mysterious layout to it. So I have been very interested in trying this one. On their website, it says it's a double dry hop hazy IPA, cool fermented with an expressive German ale yeast, and hopped extensively with hand-selected Mosaic, Cryo, Strata, and Columbus Cryo. Lightly dank, intensely tropical, and fruity.
All right.
Yes. So it's got some tasting notes of dank, slightly dry, but still soft and fluffy.
Love that word.
Tropical citrus rind, fruity pebbles.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's what it went off of the tasting notes.
Okay. I'm excited for this one.
So yeah,
a lot of hops in it.
Let's crack it.
Boom.
Good crack. Oh, a little fizzy, not too much, but just enough. Shouldn't bring it over the laptop, but I did.
Let me.
Yeah, you're gonna wash yours
out.
Mine's fine for now. Okay, so it's a bit blonder. It's a bit not as dark as some of the other ones we've had. It's also a fun fact. It's fermented cool with Kolsch yeast for an extra special hop expression. So, okay. Mike, I know you're a bit into the hoppier style of beers. Maybe you'll like this. 7%.
Okay. Up there. I'm a big fan of like when they double dry hop.
Yes.
They add in hops at the end just for flavor. It's not necessarily part of the fermenting. So let's do it.
Yes. Cheers.
Oh wow.
Ooh. That's really good.
That's really good. I like it. Yeah.
That's interesting. I did not expect that.
Wow.
So I do get a little bit of that fruitiness.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you get those hops that are definitely in the front, but a lot of those like double hoppy additives they really brought to the table. That definitely stands out for me.
That's good. That's just so much flavor.
Yeah, it's layered very well.
Yeah, this is like unlike any IPA I've had before. Mm-hmm. All the different hops and different flavors. I see where they're getting at with the fruity pebble for sure.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I'm stealing another sip of that.
Wow. I will say this is not one that you can just like.
No, it's very opposite
for a long
of what we just did.
Time. Yeah. No, this is like one and done. Yeah.
Yeah, this is it's
save
heavier.
The other three for another time.
And also, I looked it up. Sastrugi are features formed by erosion of snow by wind. They are found in polar regions and in snowy, windswept areas of temperate regions, such as frozen lakes or mountain ridges.
Hence the label on the can. This is exactly what you see.
Yes.
When wind blows and the snow kind of reforms.
Drifts.
Exactly, yeah.
Drifts.
So that makes a bit more sense for me. I just thought it was kind of going with like a emo, like kind of all over the place look. So definitely very, very interesting.
Yeah.
It's a one-off beer is what they describe on their website. So it doesn't look like it's available all year round, but for a beer that's from Minneapolis and partnered with an Asheville, North Carolina brewery, to find it in Connecticut, that's, a pretty big travel distance to find it here. So
covers a lot of ground on the Rand McDonald map.
the Rand McDonald globe. Oh, thank you.
We're celebrities in the area.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. IT might have been looking at the other house next to us,
but they don't have to know that.
Sorry, it's my bad. This is delicious. I enjoy it quite a bit.
Yeah.
It is, like we said, it's heavier, so you can't, enjoy it all. It's not crushable, I don't think.
No. And the flavor of the hops too.
Exactly. Yeah. They did take it. It pairs well.
Once again,
I do like this beer though.
it is a very good beer. Good pick.
It's good. Yeah. It's nothing that'll like knock you on your feet, or it's not like the most impressive beer, but from what it does, it has very good. I feel like the hop work is definitely the shining moment on this beer.
Yes, very impressive hops combinations.
From a brewery I've never even heard of before.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fairpoint Cooperative or whatever it was. Fair State Cooperative. Excuse me.
Get it right.
Fair State Brewing Cooperative.
Yes.
And Asheville. No.
Burial Beer. Yes.
Burial Beer Company.
I'm gonna look through some of their other beers. Maybe I have seen them.
Sastrugi. Very wordy, like brewery names and beer name.
Exactly.
A lot
yes.
of work.
That's a lot of work. I'm gonna leave that to the producer.
Yes. So they have a beer called.
Job.
They have a beer called Big Doinks, which is an extra dank IPA.
Doink.
They have
Extra
some.
dank doinks.
Ooh. They actually have some wines, I think.
Fancy.
They have a whole bunch of stuff. They have a banana and guanabana fruity smoothie seltzer collab.
Oh god damn.
I've never seen any of these beers before, but I would like to though. So, shout out to them. Thank you for making good beer. I liked it. And now, it's time to finally talk about this album that I've been wanting to talk about for years at this point. The Money Store by Death Grips. This is an interesting album. I came across it right at the beginning of college. It's not their first release as a group. They did have one more before this called Ex-Military, but it's not on streaming services. That's why I didn't go with it. But eventually I do want to get into them. And we've mentioned before of like an artist that we really like, how we would introduce it to each other on the podcast. Because like I know with Tyler, I kind of messed that up with giving the new album, and in terms of like his favorite album, like which one you want to go for. This one, it's tied with my favorite album from them, and it's also pretty early in their discography, so I figured it would make the most sense to do it on the podcast. And it's just so interesting, especially for the time. People were so mad when this came out because it was labeled as very like a hip-hop album, and people were saying this isn't hip-hop, this is just kind of experimental, kind of out there, whatever you want to call it. But I think this is such an interesting album for them because it's pretty accessible in terms of their wider discography. I know some of the other songs on this are kind of weird to the point where you might not like them, but it's so good. There's so many of their classic songs are on this. A lot of their highest stream songs are on this, and I think in terms of what it did for industrial hip-hop and kind of the underground scene for hip-hop, it definitely changed the game for when it came out in 2012, I think. And yeah, especially for 2012, when you think of the albums that were out at that time for hip-hop, they were so sterilized and, consumer friendly. Mm-hmm. And then this comes out, and I feel like it changes a lot of what people could do at the time. And, I just personally enjoy it quite a bit. So I knew it was going to be off-putting for both of you, and I understand that. But
I came into this wanting to piss you off.
Exactly. Now I'm interested in what you guys thought of it, though. And yeah,
let's just start with the tracks. I mean, I'm just saying. So you got the first one.
Got.
Honestly, the music, like the synth and the way that I like, it's not.
I like the music a lot. This like hyped me up. I was like, okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna say from the get-go, lyrically and vocally, I didn't like the vocals at all throughout the
MC
album.
Rad, you're not a fan of MC Rad?
Yeah, but there was like a lot of music, a lot of instrumentals on this that I did like, and some of it was this first song.
Yep. They're a three-piece band. It's MC Ride on vocals, Zach Hill on drums and percussion. This is live percussion, by the way. These are all real drums.
Okay, cool.
And Flatlander is the guy that does all the other production on their end.
Okay.
So
I'm glad you said industrial hip-hop, because industrial was the first word that came to my mind.
Yes. This is definitely... Yes.
It was kind of like the 9 Inch Nails of hip-hop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a very like tortured and dark album for me.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of it is very trippy,
Oh,
and even in
look
this
at the album cover.
exactly. Yeah.
You ever see the real album cover? I looked it up.
Yeah, there's tits on it.
The guy has tits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like on a leash holding him.
Yeah, but
Yeah, some BDSM shit. It's weird.
Yeah.
This is a very hellish release for me. I feel like a lot of this is, you feel like you're like just going
Tortured
through
in a basement.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
And it's awesome. I love it for that kind of shit.
Yeah, I mean, I got to agree with Joe. I think the vocals. I can't even confidently say the lyrics because I don't really listen to them much.
Exactly.
It's
hard to.
It's hard. But the vocals, I think, were the down point of this album.
Okay.
I think the music was really cool, and I thought like when you throw that industrial side, like there's a different vibe to it, and there's kind of in a fucked up way, a pump me up vibe to
absolutely,
to this kind of fucked up music.
Yeah,
but
exactly, yep.
I just felt like I think when vocals are something that really kind of make or break a band, an album, or whatever, that's kind of what broke them. Was I don't know, I just a lot of like short, jarring, and that's fine, but it's the whole time.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is, I think, where it became a little too much.
Okay. Because I know on Ex-Military, it was actually a mixtape that came right before this, he was just so shouty and extremely vocal to the point where I think he just wanted to switch it up for this one. And that's a lot of what you see on their whole discography, is that they don't play into what their audience or fans want them to be or expect them to be. So a lot of it is a change up, and this one he's a bit more subdued with a lot of what he's saying. But I agree. I like the instrumentation on this. It can get a little repetitive with that little, but it's good.
Yeah, I thought for as kind of messy and crazy as that sounded, it flowed really well. Which is what I really liked about that first song.
Yeah.
They put different effects on it that kind of keeps it fresh.
Like when you get into the second song, The Fever, like, is he even speaking English? Like I just felt like...
I love this song though. The way it builds up with that siren kind of going off. This song reminds me, but it sets the scene of like you're at like some experimental lab and like some kind of creature escapes and then they got the siren going off in the beginning. And then it just all hell breaks loose on it.
But I mean, like the way he's rapping and or singing, whatever you want to call it. Like I almost at some point was listening. I was like, what is he saying? I couldn't figure it out. It's just like so much mumble going on.
Yeah, there are parts where I don't know what he's saying, so it's hard to like rap along to. I can understand that, but I don't know. It just gets me going.
Yeah.
No, I can see that part. Yeah, of it, for sure.
Musically, it's cool. It's different, but you can still like find the groove in it. Yeah. This album. Yeah, you know what this album reminds me of? It just reminds me of like, I don't know, like you're in the middle of just like a fucking like rave, like in the middle of like some club.
Strobe lights.
Yeah, strobe lights everywhere. Everyone dropping Molly. Yeah, like right in like New York City.
Don't have epilepsy.
Yeah. I remember this one time I found myself in this club, this like rave club. It's called Pasha in New York. I don't even know if they're still open, but
Pasha.
How the fuck did you get? How'd that work?
My buddy Andrew, we went there.
Ooh.
Yeah, because he was into like EDM music at that time, and I was like, I was into it, but I just go wherever, people want to go, I'll go try it out. And oh my God, I didn't know if I was going to make it out there alive. Just the lights everywhere, the deep, loud bass, and this is something exactly like I would imagine in there.
Exactly.
I don't even know if they're open anymore, Pasha.
Well, it's funny you mention that because I remember the first time I actually heard anything by Death Grips. They have a song called Guillotine off of their first song or first release, and I was in my friend's dorm room at school under the influence of something, and I had these big ass headphones, kind of like these, and they had this bass that just kind of it's combined with like a sword slashing sound for like the guillotine. Right. And it's just huge. It was like, and it hits you at once, and you're like, holy shit! Especially with like these really nice quality headphones. So, I could understand that too from that angle.
Yeah.
But like just from first impressions, like I was hooked from the very beginning from them, and the Fever definitely represents a lot of their really good songwriting and ability to enthrall the general audience. Like, and I can totally understand if this isn't for everyone. You know, they're very much kind of underground. They don't really have like mainstream appeal. Although I have heard, I don't remember if it was Hacker, the last song on this album. I heard it in a Netflix show that my sister was watching. I walked in on it once, and I heard the instrumental.
I gotta give Netflix credit. They find some interesting like music, like songs you don't hear anywhere,
like soundtracks,
and then all of a sudden it'll pop on a Netflix show or a movie.
Yeah,
and it's the Netflix originals. You know what I mean? It's not like a show that's being streamed on Netflix. It's their shows. They do.
Yeah, they have good people finding that over there.
Yeah, I give them credit for that.
Yeah.
So then,
Lost Boys. This song scares me.
Wasn't that a song by some pop artist?
I don't know.
About Peter Pan?
Oh, really?
I think so. There was a song. I mean, I'm sure it was well after this.
It's an anthem for outlaws and pariahs, feverishly lauding a misanthropic lifestyle and disparaging social normative. The lyrics slur over the bass line's unrelenting throb. Oh, that's another thing I really like about this. He has really good hooks on it, especially with this one. He's like, "It's such a long way down," and then the Lost Boys going off. It's so like at first I was really off put by it because like the woman going Lost Boys just get a little little annoying at times.
Mm-hmm.
But when it gets going, I just got to start bobbing to it. And I had a chance to go see them when I was at school, but I was really broke at the time, so I couldn't. But my friend who was like really close to them, like the pit got so close to each other, like he was literally lifted off his feet because people were like pushing him up.
Oh wow!
There's so many people just jammed in such a small spot, and I guess they put on a really good live show too. But I
mean, I literally feel like I was kidnapped, drugged.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And this is like the next hour of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's a bit of a change from the last album, isn't it, Mike?
A little bit. It's kind of the other extreme.
Yeah. You're almost too, like, your senses are a bit too overwhelmed at points, which is why I really like it. It's definitely kind of shakes you around.
I try to wonder when would I listen to this besides for this reason.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a big thing with how I listen to music, too, is I don't necessarily, like, do it while trying to do something else. Like, if you're doing, like, homework, you're not going to want to put this on. Or if you're, like, cleaning your... Actually, sometimes I put this on while doing the dishes just to, like, distract me.
Yeah.
Crash.
Yeah. This is
they're
also
all clean. They're all broken.
Yeah, right.
Technically, it's off of there. This is something I can work out to, too. Definitely. It gets me really pumped.
Yeah, I don't do too much for, like...
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah,
but it's almost like I said, the opposing end of the John Mayer album we just did.
Yeah,
they were all so slow, ballady, and boring. Like they just sounded like I said, it was the same song 10 times. I'm almost at the other end where these are all so intense and also electronic that I feel like I'm having a hard time differentiating because I'm like. Again, I feel like I'm
That's fair.
drugged and in a rave and in someone's basement, and I can't even make sense of what's happening. And it's definitely interesting.
A lot of it sounds like a
you woke
up
in a
Pac-Man
trunk.
video game.
I can
like
see
a lot of the sound effects.
Okay.
Or like some kind of just arcade video game.
Sure. On Last FM, this is my 39th most listened to album.
Huh?
That's low.
345 track listens, I guess.
Jesus.
But I mean, you know, if I started earlier, there would be more on there definitely. This one, there's so many like, on Blackjack, the song Blackjack after Lost Boys.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This one has so many like reversed vocals on it that sound almost like ghostly and scary, and it's not necessarily like the most interesting in terms of the instrumentation on it. It's pretty basic, but it's just so like shouty and vocally that you hear it all over the place. And if you're not a big fan of the vocals, I can understand.
Well, I'll be honest with you. This is one of the ones where I thought was actually they did a cool I really actually did like that.
Okay.
Like back and forth, reverse ghost kind of feel.
Mm-hmm.
I think it added another element away from just kind of the mumble and the shouting and the
I love MC Ride.
This is pretty. This one I did enjoy this song.
Yeah. Nice. I'm glad. Yeah, this one is. It's not necessarily my favorite. I think there are some of the more obviously not poppier, but more like hip hop driven tracks that I'm more into. Mm-hmm. Just because I think the driving force behind the instrumentation is a bit not bland but repetitive after a while. Okay. But I do like how the vocals on this song come out.
It's a good listen in headphones.
The whole thing is because
back and forth. Yeah.
I remember I was in Starbucks when I first pulled it up. I was like, I got to listen to Tom's album, and I was in Starbucks. I was in between something one day, and I pulled it up, and just in my headphones. So I only have headphone experience with this, and I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yep.
Yeah, sipping on my
I feel like you
double chocolatey chip.
I feel like you get fucking PTSD with this album.
Mm-hmm. It's so cursed. I love it. And the next track, Hustle Bones. Fuck yes to this song. I love this song. I love the kind of revving that starts the track off, even though it's not real revving. I think it's some kind of synth or some kind of instrument they got going that's either just like pitch shifting like slightly up.
Like bend, yeah.
Give a fuck what you heard. Yeah, fuck what you... It's like, oh shit, let's go. And like Hustle Bones is like hustling, like making money, and Bones money, obviously.
I like
probably
that,
it plays off of the money store. Mm-hmm. Yep,
I like that.
Yeah, the chorus.
Yeah.
So Bones coming out my... This one's a bit more lyrically understandable.
Yes.
Coming out my mouth, Hustle Bones coming out my... yeah, this song. Oh my god. Well, there's like 5 really big singles that they have off of this that like the not general audience, but like people who are just kind of vaguely aware of Death Grips know. And that's the first 2 songs, Get Got and The Fever. This one, Hustle Bones. The one after that, I See Footage, and then the closer, which is Hacker. Those are like the 5 biggest tracks by them. They do have other big songs, but in terms of the discography of them, like their 5 biggest songs are off of one album, which is really cool because it just goes to show like their reach on, especially on this album, just like shit. This song, I love this song. Sorry.
No,
it
you're
is
right.
One of the standouts.
Yeah, and you're right. You know, when it comes to the vocals and things like that, which is I know me and Joe mentioned kind of our hardest part to really, I guess, fully appreciate for this album, but it's a little bit more hip hop based and less of that like experimental, industrial kind of things are all over the place. That's a good song.
What?
Okay, is it really weird that you sang that in perfect unison with what you sound
really?
On headphones? So I think
mine too. It was
really
So we're
like all in the same spot.
Nobody hit pause.
Yeah.
We will listen to this together.
Yeah. Next track in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I've Seen Footage.
This is listed on Wikipedia as their only single.
Oh, actually, I did not know what the singles were for this one, but I could see that.
Now I'm racing.
This
push
one
it.
Push it. That's it. That's what it reminds me of. Yes. Yep. Push it real good.
This sounds like 90s like Salt and Pepper.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, the beat is pretty standard. Not but like in terms of what they've done. Yeah, definitely.
Mainstream.
I stay noited. I've Seen Footage. I don't know what the Seen Footage, but this is definitely the most accessible of all of their singles, I would say.
Yeah.
Like if you aren't as much into the experimental side, this is definitely
one of a 90s party like hip hop type of song. It's like a throwback almost.
Yeah.
I've Seen Footage. MC Ride feels that the stuff he has seen in the ghetto is so messed up that he has detached himself from it and sees it as a dream or video footage and not real. Oh, okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that's what the
I just
lyrical
assumed it
content
meant
was.
like the footage taken of the hostage wrapped in the leather in the basement.
Yeah, it also
like
describes the amount of disturbing
sex with.
shit you can watch online, and he's become desensitized. But yeah, so yeah, this is a really cool song. I love this.
Yep.
Crazy shit, man, crazy shit. At the latter half of
I
this.
feel
too.
like if you take them and you bring them down just a slight notch, they become a little bit more listenable. Like, I could listen to this while doing things. You know what I mean? Like this song.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, I feel like I could listen to this while I was working in the garage. Like you said, doing dishes, cleaning.
Yeah.
Like, there's a little bit more flexibility to enjoying it while doing something else.
Okay. I don't know. I just like the tortured side of it. It's cool.
I do like this song, though, a lot.
Yeah.
There was also a tweet by, I want to say it was William Shatner, who tweeted lyrics from this song. He was been really into it.
Wow.
What was it? This one? No, it was off of Ex-Military. Because he was like chaos in the brain. And I think he said "I stay noited" in a tweet, but something like that is really funny. But yeah, it's awesome. Noid. All right.
Next.
Double
And then
Double Helix.
this
I like
is like
the name of the song.
Me too.
DNA, Double Helix.
Yeah.
yeah,
Cool.
that really like
Science aspect.
that like crunchy bell sound that's like right in the beginning.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
He shows a little more of his like speed rap in this one.
Double.
You know, which is like, you know, another side to him. He's not as like shouty.
Yeah.
You know, almost a little more of like a Busta Rhymes kind of a vocal.
Yep.
But the song is okay. It's nothing special.
Exactly. Yeah. Right after between I've Seen Footage and Hacker, there are some songs that I enjoy, but it does get a bit more experimental on that side, where there is a big part of me that really appreciates that. Like, you know, without trying to see where you can go in music, then everything's just going to sound the same after a long period of time. Yeah. So you have to find that experimental to figure out what's good and what's not. And I don't think it works super well for this song, even though I still do enjoy it, which doesn't make sense.
I feel like you get someone like an Eminem who has a very distinct like rhythmic pattern in a lot of what he does, and you know we've talked about him rapping like through like a bar into the next bar and making that rhyme, and it's not as conventional as. And I feel like they try to do that in a lot of it, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
You know, at the beginning of this Double Helix song, there's a few times like he pauses, and it's kind of an awkward pause.
Yep.
And
yeah.
just for him, it just didn't. For this song, it didn't work.
Yeah, because if you kind of like tap your hand along to it, he doesn't even do it to the beat. He's like, no, double. It's like
yeah,
offbeat, which is I'm sure to catch them off guard purposefully. But this song just feels like all three of them wrote their own parts to a different song and then just kind of came together with it at the end. Like the percussion is really cool. I
which
love
is
it.
weird because it's 13 tracks, so it's not like they were hurting for another track. It's not like it was an 8-track album and they needed a ninth or they needed an eighth. Like,
how long is this?
It's 13.
It's only 41 minutes though. It's not like super long album, but
put it at 37. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's
I was just rocking out to that while you guys were talking.
You like it?
Double Helix. I like the music of it. It was kind of like, you know, it was kind of cool. I would have loved to be in the studio with them while they were making this album. Like, what that must have been like.
Yeah. That's definitely, it would be interesting.
This is just so far out from anything I
exactly, yes.
Pick.
And I'll be bringing more of it.
Not even picking for the podcast, but just like, hey, I'm gonna try and listen to this album.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely non-comparable. Although I will say that there have been a larger wave of artists after the wake of this album that have gone out there and tried to replicate a lot of their sounds.
First one I think of is Kanye. Right?
No, well, Kanye was out before then, But if you're looking at his Yeezus album, which was in 2013, I would say takes a lot from this.
That's what I'm saying. The minimalist, the
electronic,
kind of
a bit more. That's a really industrial album.
Yeah,
that I feel like
that's the one where it's just a picture of a CD with the red sticker.
Exactly. Yes. I know the band Clipping, which has the V Diggs from. He was in Hamilton, the black guy with the hair. They take a lot from this style and they make it their own, and they have a lot of good albums as well. But I feel like they were the originators of this kind of industrial sound. I know I've been saying that word a lot, but
but that's what it is.
Exactly, yeah. And then you go on to System Blower after this. This song is along the same vein.
Doesn't really do much for me, this one.
Yeah.
Kind of boring.
Very glitchy, I would say.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I will say the opening to the cage is cool.
You see this? Yeah.
That cool little yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it slows down, then picks back up. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it gets a little bit more warped as the song goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then his kind of heavily reverbed shouts kind of go on into the background as well. It's a cool feeling. But this one, I can definitely see your point of, I don't know where I would be when I would listen to this. Mm-hmm. This isn't a car song. This isn't really a chilling at the lake or doing dishes song. This is purely you're a fan of what they do and you want to listen to this album in full song. And I do like what he does with his vocals and that bass, I guess it is, that wow kind of sound going on in the back. Yeah. That lined up with his vocals is really cool.
No, they do. They hit or miss. They have these songs where their rhythm section lines up really well with the rhythmic of their lyrics, and then they have the songs where their rhythm section is completely almost opposed to the lyrics and the rhythm, and it's just such a major dynamic shift that sometimes I'm kind of thrown off by it, where it doesn't work, but I'm sure it's what they intended for it.
Exactly. I could see that. That's a good way of putting that. This was definitely an album to test your boundaries of what you guys were comfortable with. So I'm interested in seeing what you guys are saying.
I'd still listen to it over John Mayer.
Okay. I would too. But in a good way. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like a lot of what they do in the latter half of the cage, though, isn't really too much different from what they do for the whole part of the song. Did it have to be 3.5 minutes? Or
I just moved on. It got kind of boring.
Yeah, after a while, not a lot of stickiness to it.
And then you get into the next one, which sounds like an anime,
I don't know why.
Video game.
But I really like this song.
It opened up, it made me think of, that anime video game style.
Yeah, it's chipmunk vocals.
Yeah.
This one sounds like you're having a panic attack, and then it hits in that middle part of the section of the song where it just hits that really heavy bass and you start screaming.
This is where you're in the middle of that club and you're realizing, oh my god, what the fuck's going on?
You're realizing, oh shit, that drink was probably spiked.
Right, and you're getting that panic attack, you're saying,
So those chipmunk vocals. They're taken from the song Hua Heda from the album Music from Saharan Cell Phones Volume 2. It's a compilation of music collected from cell phone memory cards in the Sahara Desert. That is cool. I had no idea.
How's that even a thing?
The repeated line is, on Nawi, whose signs manifested, animal sacrifices held on his door, on my masters, it releases horrors. That's cool. I didn't know that.
Okay.
But then they kind of pitch shift it down a little bit. And then you get to, it's it takes a minute to actually get there. But when it hits, that kind of scream in the middle, really chunky fat bass that hits you right there.
Yep.
I don't know why it says 25/8. Oh, it's he's 25/8 punk weight. I guess it's a reference to 25 and 5/8 inch is a syringe generally used for shooting steroids. Huh.
Oh.
So there you go. DG Death Grips might refer to this use of steroids to make illusion of real weight in sense of looking street tough, but actually just being punk weight. There you go. I didn't know that. So it's making fun of people who use steroids to
get
bulk
big,
up and get weight.
Strong.
exactly. Yes.
Well, from a scientific standpoint, there's a difference between being. I mean, you can be small and strong compared to your body weight versus big and actually not that strong.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people. And I know it sounds funny. I just watched the new Suicide Squad last night, and John Cena's in it. Mm-hmm. John Cena is a massive human being.
Yes,
I mean, massive. Mm-hmm. But I know one of the common, whether it be a rumor or I guess you could say criticism of him, is that for as big as a guy as he is, he's not one of the stronger guys. Mm-hmm. I kind of just random connection to what I was watching and this, but I understand. I guess that makes sense with the punk weight.
Mm-hmm.
That's a cool combination, just theory wise, or.
Yeah. And at least for this album, in terms of the second half, right after the other big single, I would say this is definitely one of my favorite not low key, but not as well known tracks. Mm-hmm. The second half. But yeah, fuck that is after this.
Yes, I say that a lot.
Fuck that.
Yeah. Kind of cool, almost like African drums in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they have that on some tracks where they'll take a lot of cool drum samples from other kind of styles. Like you said, this one's very African, like Saharan almost. And then the closing track, which we'll get to, has very militaristic drumline samples. But I love Zach Hill's interpretation. I don't know if it's actually him playing, because he is very... If you look up videos of him playing, he's a fucking sick drummer.
Is he?
Skinny white kid, literally dripping sweat at the end of every show, just very
Travis
animalistic.
Barker-esque.
Yes, yeah. Guy from Hailstorm-esque. What's his name?
RJ?
RJ, yeah. He reminds me a lot of him. But
he's like a human form animal.
Yeah.
Yep.
Watch some practice footage of him playing. It's insane. But this one is a bit too I don't know how to put it into words. There's no catchy qualities to this song.
No, I was gonna say it's just very choppy and it's hard to follow along to.
Yeah, it's not very smooth.
No.
Where some of the others are a bit more accessible. This one you can't even really you can kind of bounce to it a little bit, but I don't know. Not really my favorite.
No, this might be one of the harder ones to listen to.
Yeah.
Even fuck that. Because I think even the heavier screaming crazy ones at least have that boom, 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 boom. Mm-hmm. This is kind of just a little too all over the place.
Yeah.
This is a kid that you give too much pixie sticks to, and he's just bouncing all over the walls. It's all right, well, stick to one thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, I appreciate it and understand it, but it's usually a skip song for me if I'm listening to the album as a whole.
Agreed.
Yeah. And then another 2-word swear title, Bitch Please, comes right after that. This one I think is a bit more catchier.
Yeah, I like that synth. Do 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 do.
Yeah.
Do 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 do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of got a little
the chorus
hook to
kind of is nicer. Where it's bitch please, you must be smoking rocks, real shit. I like that too. It's an earworm for me. I will catch myself singing that at work and I'll be like, oh, I should probably not be singing this at work.
I also just feel, again, vocally, he gets very repetitive with that throughout the album.
Yeah.
Which is kind of just droning a little bit. All right. I don't know.
Yeah.
You start to lose a little bit of focus with the vocals, which we mentioned early on, and I feel like it was the beginning was kind of like a culture shock when you first hit, and then you kind of got into it a little bit, and then at the end it kind of just droned out a little.
I use Culture Shock because that's a track off of their first album.
Is it?
Yeah. Culture Shock, it's really good.
For just that style of music in general, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's what it is.
Exactly, yeah. So, kind of the last of the non singles on the second part of the album, but ends with Hacker, which, whoa, I like this song a lot. Whoa. Ain't no ins and outs. It almost sounds like you're outside of a club when the song starts for the first like 15 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And the lyrics of this are just, they make literally no sense. I'm pretty sure he like pulls different lyrics from random parts of the album and just kind of combines them onto this track.
Okay.
And it's like when all shit breaks loose for the end of the album. This is like it's like an anti-ending for an album where like it like kind of coasts out for the other part of it, and then but this one it does the opposite, where it like hypes everything up on purpose and just kind of lets everything go.
Mm-hmm.
And I really love that. And he throws out like pop culture icons like Lady Gaga and Sammy Davis for some reason. Like he'll talk about like Apple and their ability to like do whatever they want and like murdering people, and it's like it's insane. Like this is where those militaristic like drum lines kind of
well,
come
I hope
in.
that actually is him drumming, because that's pretty sick. That little snare.
I think it is, because
Like,
it sounds really good.
hopefully it's not a sample.
Post chicken or the egg addiction shit. Past the Sherm stick Neo. Yeah, it makes no sense, but I kind of like that because it's that. It kind of ties in with the idea of like a hacker kind of like coming in and like fucking everything up, and it gets really glitchy. This is it's just a really cool visual. I like it, especially for an album closer. Sink or swim.
It's got a little more of like that pop techno beat.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit. And that kind of that chorus sound too is very like big
snare drum.
Yeah.
Yep. Big one.
Just the effects.
You come out, you shit.
Just really cool.
I know.
Mm-hmm. This is not an album I would probably dial up again,
Okay.
but
Probably not.
That's
the
fair.
work they did on it is pretty cool. The drums sound electronic though. They're real drums.
I don't know for this song,
Uh-huh.
but for most of the album, they're real drums.
Cool.
This one might be a sample they borrowed from somewhere.
Yeah, because I mean, Zach Hill is listed as drums, percussion, and production.
Yes,
So
yeah.
I'm sure
he kind of does a lot of work. But when they start touring again, I really want to go see them, because this in a concert setting would be fucking sick.
Yeah.
It would be cool.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that. I don't know if, like Joe said, I dialed this up again as another listen, But if they were at like some small little venue just playing like I'd go just for the experience of seeing this live.
Right.
Absolutely, yeah. But at least in terms of this album, or in terms of this song, I really love it. It's especially as a closer. It feels like you're falling down like a bottomless pit,
Like
and you just keep falling, and shit just comes at you.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yes. We got like the green numbers coming down here. That's probably another good visual I could see from this. But great way to close an album specifically.
Like
I love how
of when he first realizes what the Matrix is, and he has to like take it
Yep,
off.
exactly. Yeah. And I love right at the very end, like even as it's building up for like the whole end part, and it just goes dee 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 dee, and then ends really shortly. There's no fade out or anything.
Yeah. It like ended abruptly.
Fantastic ending.
Yep.
For me at least, but
Yeah.
I know this was a bit out of your wheelhouse, but
Just a tad.
just a tad, yes.
Just a tad, Thomas.
Don't worry, I'll be bringing more. We'll do their first one that I talked about a bunch. They do have an album called Bottomless Pit, which is one of my other favorite albums.
Mm-hmm.
But I would figure they're one of their first like commercial debuts for. Oh, what they were on a label for this one, Epic Records. They were on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and actually, this is a really funny story. They were signed for like 4 albums or something like that. And they really wanted to put out their next album after this called No Love Deep Web. They wanted to release it for free, but their label was like, no, we're not. You're not doing that. So they instead of doing that, they just released it anyway for free online. And the album cover is just I think it's Zach Hill's dick, and then he wrote No Love Deep Web on his dick, and that's the album cover.
Jesus.
So yeah,
shit.
Yeah, and then they were immediately released from their label right after that. So.
Sounds about right.
But yeah, they're definitely an interesting band, and something that they're so out there and so unique that you can't not pay attention to them, and they're just so all over the place that I love it.
And always like when I'm playing something and then Amazon likes to put in like something similar, and the next song to come up was Supervillain by MF Doom.
Really?
Immediately after that album.
That's an interesting like take from that, but
just like the same kind of, underground-ish hip hop.
Yeah. That's my style. I kind of go for that.
I see that.
It's a lot of fun.
Even Amazon sees that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Tracks.
I guess we'll get into tracks.
Here we go.
I guess I will start.
Go ahead, Tom. Start it off.
I don't know. This is tough. I'm gonna pull a Joe Sod and name a couple.
Okay.
I really like Tacker. I said that before. That's a fantastic song. Great way to end an album too. And I guess I'll go with Hustle Bones. I really like that one. Just the way that he incorporates those like kind of warped vocal samples in the chorus. It was a really cool way of interpreting that. So those are my two favorites for sure.
Okay. For my favorite, I'm gonna go I've Seen Footage.
Definitely a good one.
Just because it was a little more, how do I say, attainable for me.
Listenable.
Right,
That's
listenable, accessible, and it had the push it kind of reminiscent vibe, which I liked. Yeah, I've Seen Footage.
Same thing. I don't really have much else to add to that. It was just kind of a little 90s throwback, and
that's totally fair.
It was definitely the, like I said, most listenable track. Like at any point in time, I could throw that on.
Yeah. Least favorite, Mike. What's your least favorite?
I think I would go Fuck That. It was very hard to get into and like kind of even bob my head to, like even just was all over the place. And as cool as like that African type of drumming was, it just didn't, for me, work with what they were trying to get out of it.
I would actually agree. My least favorite's Fuck That. It's for pretty much the exact same reasons. It was just it was so experimental to the point where you can't really pull too much enjoyment from it. And definitely a skip for me. But yeah.
Let's make it a three-way. Fuck that.
All right.
Yep.
Fuck that during a three-way.
Yeah. So there's that.
All right.
Yeah, and there's that. Joe Sod.
Dark Horse, Sleepy Dark Horse. This is a tough one. I don't really know where to go with this because every song is just so similar in like style.
Okay.
I might need a minute.
Okay. I can go if you would like.
Yeah, either one.
I went with Punk Weight. I really like that. The just the weirdest sample choice that I've ever heard from like a Sahari cell phone album thing that they've released at the beginning.
Was good.
Yeah. It's a strange way to open the song. It's a little like strange, but when it gets to that really heavy part with the drums and that really thick crunchy bass and then him just like screaming over it, it just combines for such a really cool song that it almost feels like you're having a mental breakdown during it, and I somehow appreciate that.
Yeah,
Punk Weight's my sleeper. Dark Horse.
I'm going with Blackjack.
Okay.
Something about the vocals that probably shouldn't be attractive because it was kind of messy and all over the place. Yep. But it really did have that ghostly feel and like that back and forth, and like Joe had said, from one earbud to the other. And there was just something really cool, not even necessarily about the quality of the song as much as the quality of the production of that song that I really appreciated.
For sure, yeah.
And that was going to be my one that I could like sneak on every once in a while.
Yeah.
I was going to say the same thing.
You can say the same thing.
I'm just giving one other that I had my eye on. A quick. Yeah, I think I'm going to go Blackjack because of the effects. Yeah, Blackjack, sleeper.
Yeah. You got it. Nice.
All right.
Yeah. I also like Lost Boys too. That was a good.
That was the other one I was going to say.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So at least we agree on that. But I guess we'll rate it.
Rate it.
All right. I am giving The Money Store by Death Grips an 8 out of 10.
Woo!
Yes.
Wow.
It's especially for the time, it was so cutting edge. 2012, you really don't hear anything else like it. They're truly a one of a kind band and group, and hip hop has never really been the same. This was like right at the end of like the bling era, where a lot of people are like rapping about like just how much money they made, like kind of like that Kanye old ass style era. And it really made such a noise in the underground hip hop scene that I feel like it defined a lot of what came after it, and it really drew me into what kind of music that they create, and I really appreciate that, and a lot of their other albums too are just so fantastic. But there are it's not a 10, it's not a 9 because of some of the latter half tracks on this album kind of keep it from reaching the potential that it could have, and I feel like they were just kind of on that part throwing stuff at the wall just to see what stuck. But for what it does have, so many great singles, and a lot of listening power that I keep coming back to so many times. Yeah, definitely an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
You have one? I'm struggling a little bit.
I understand.
I have it.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm going to give it a 3. It's not my style.
That is totally fair.
At all. But I appreciate what they did. It's very different. It's still musical, even though it's kind of a mess. But it's still, accessible in a lot of ways in a lot of the tracks. But for me, like pulling it up again and giving it another listen, I probably won't. But 3 for me. 3 out of 10 bops.
So I was in between a 3 and a 4, so I'm going to go 3.5.
Okay.
That's kind of where I'm sitting. It was a 3.5. I mean, a couple of tracks here and there, but even those tracks, would I run back to listen to? Probably not.
Okay.
I appreciate it for what it was, but when it comes to, my, I guess, style or what kind of I can get into, it was definitely a little bit of a struggle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that going into it,
Yeah.
that it's definitely not for everyone. It's definitely an acquired taste to get into them, but I'm glad we went through it anyway.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
How about the Sastrugi from Fair State Brewing Cooperative and Burial Beer?
This was good. Very flavorful.
It was.
I liked it upon first sip. You got to drink this one quick because it's so flavorful. It can't get warm.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
What, Tom, your beer? What are you going to give it?
Oh, okay.
I mean to overstep.
It is a bit on the hoppier side, which I'm not a crazy big fan of, but I like the way that they layered it and how it hits the it has a good mouth feel to it, if that makes any sense at all.
Yes.
It's not just one, like you have beers that just kind of focus on one major hop and then it's just kind of one-dimensional. This one I feel like has so many differing styles to it that it's hard to pin down exactly what you're getting out of it. And I like that. It's very similar to the album. So I'm going to sit around a 6.5, I think, for this beer. Definitely very interesting style. And I definitely want to try out some of the other beers from them as well.
Sounds good.
They're a bit further away, and it's a bit of a drive to Minneapolis, but...
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
Not a lot.
I'm going to give it a 5.5. But for a lot of the same reasons. I like I really never tasted a beer quite like this before. So many hops going on. And like you said, it was kind of a good pairing with the album. Yeah. It was both busy items. But I can't drink a lot of this. It's probably one and done, and I got to drink it quick while it's cold.
Yep.
But I like the dry hop process and a lot of the hops that they used. So I'll give it a 5.5.
Sure.
5.5 hops.
I'm at 5.
Yeah.
It was in some sense almost a little too much flavor to where like it was hard to just enjoy. Like I don't know. I think back to like the couple of the Abomination sours or whatever. They were a mix of multiple flavors.
Yep.
But they all kind of complemented one another to just give you this one good flavor. I felt like you could taste multiple different flavors between the hoppiness, between the the different like hazy fruits and different. It was just a lot going on, and I think it was good. But like everyone said, I think it's a one and done.
Yeah.
You buy a 4-pack of this, you give each person one.
Right, and you're done with it.
15 minutes later, you're on to something a little lighter and a little more refreshing. Wasn't a bad beer. Definitely creative in the way they brewed it and the flavors they brought in. But definitely makes it hard to enjoy it, like you said, over a long period of time or within multiple cans in a sitting.
For sure.
Yep. Cool. All right. Shout outs.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Death Grips Official, I believe, is their account. Although it's not, they don't have a lot of. They like to remain a little bit mysterious, a little bit on the lower end on the social media platforms. I believe their website is called thirdworlds.net, I believe. I could be wrong, but I don't know.
They're a .net.
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't heard of .net in a while.
Exactly, yeah. But yeah, go check them out. I will eventually bring some more of their albums to the show. Maybe not for a while, just to kind of balance everything out.
Yeah, I need a break.
Yeah. And,
my head's still bouncing.
Yes, Sastrugi from Fair State. Fairstate.coop is their website, so go check them out. I do not know their Instagram off of the top of my head, but I will look it up.
And then what's the other one?
Oh, just Fair State Co-op is their Instagram, and then
Burial.
it was Burial Beer out of Asheville, North Carolina.
Yep, and they're just Burial Beer.
Go check them out.
Burialbeer.com.
If you can get some of their other stuff, it looks really good. They do a lot of beer fests around the country, so go check those out if you would like. They're pretty decent. I liked them.
Nice. Cool. Next up.
Episode 53.
53. This is one that we've been teasing, long awaited.
It's been teased.
And it's finally happening.
Our 1 year anniversary as a podcast.
We decided to make this episode, or this coming episode, our 1 year anniversary episode. We are going to be talking about
the one, the only, the beloved by few.
Nickelback.
Yes.
It's coming. And we chose I believe it's 2005, All the Right Reasons album.
Yes.
The one with the car on the cover and photograph and Rockstar and all that. So we're going to be talking about that and see what we think. Just notoriously shit upon band.
Yes.
Potential guest,
not confirmed just yet, but our buddy Trevor's coming back. He wants to be on another episode. And
first repeat guest?
I believe so.
He comes back.
Yeah, actually, he's already repeated. If you think about it,
he actually did.
Yeah.
And to pair with that, we had some ideas originally, but I think we're changing our idea.
Yes. So I don't know where these are sold. If they're not sold near us, then we will go back to our original idea.
Yes.
But to pair with the struggle of this album, we really wanted to have the torture themes go through. So we're going to have the Four Loko seltzers that they're releasing.
Yes.
I'm not sure if they sell them around here, but we'll try our best to get our paws on those. Because
three of us, we will hit the ground and try and find them.
Yep, we'll spread out.
Yeah.
But I saw those. We have to do those. So look forward to that, I guess.
Yeah, sounds good. Although, we'll save it for the episode.
Yeah.
Well, cool. There you go. There you have it. Another episode in the books. Thank you so much for listening. Check us out on Instagram and Facebook, Hops and Bops Podcast. Drinks and music, mostly beer. On Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. For Joe, I'm Joe. For Mike and Tom, I'm Joe. Have a great one. See you next time.
Peace.